Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are having an amazing and informative hour. My name is Ayushi, and I'm the host for you all for today's session. Today, we have Michelle from Aussizz Group and Debbie Aquino from Southern Cross Education Institute. Now, our experts will be waiting for your feedbacks. Now, if you're happy, you are more than welcome to please post your questions in the chat box, and we'll be addressing them at the end of the session. Also, we have some very exciting giveaways for our attendees. We want to take the session deep and interactive, and we encourage questions and feedback. We have a bumper cash prize to claim for the ones who leave the most descriptive review under the Facebook link. So I'm just going to post the Facebook link in the chat box as well for you all to have an access. Tag your friends and family and write hashtag Aussizz Education Summit 2022 or hashtag Aussizz Group in the comment section along with your feedback. The most participative audience member from the chat box is also eligible for free giveaways such as free PT coaching, IELTS coaching, PR consultations, etc. We encourage you to come and be a part of Aussizz Summit. I'm just going to share the screen for you all to have a look at the bumper prize that we have as well. So that will be easy for you all to go through it once. There you go. So guys, please be as descriptive as you want. Constructive feedbacks are always welcome, and we are more than happy to receive all kinds of feedbacks from you so we can improve and give the best services that we can. So now, let's meet our guest for today. So we have a presenter from Aussizz Group, Miss Mechelle Orias, a QX certified agent, senior education consultant with more than 5 years of experience as a qualified education advisor. She has helped countless students launch their courses and careers in the number of different streams. Hello, Michelle. How are you? Sorry, you're on mute.
Oh, hi, Ayushi. Good afternoon. Hi, Debbie. Good afternoon. I'm good, thank you.
That's good. And we also have Debbie. So Debbie Aquino is marketing manager at the prestigious Southern Cross Education Institute and SCEI Higher Ed. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the session. How are you? Sorry, you're on mute as well.
Hi, Ayushi. I'm good, thank you. How are you, Michelle? Good.
Good.
That's good. So Michelle, you can take it over from here and you can start your presentation.
Thank you, Ayushi, for the introduction. Again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Aussizz Group Education Summit 2022. I hope wherever you may be right now listening with us, watching this session, I hope you guys are all safe and well. Again, I am Michelle, one of the education consultants at Aussizz Group. I am sitting or based in Melbourne, Australia. So I am a Filipino national. I am originally from the Philippines, but we have a diverse workforce in our Aussizz Group team, which we could attend your queries at your level of comfortability. So at this hour, we will be discussing about education programs and its career pathway, which if you guys have confusion and doubt to what course to enroll, or you're having a plan um, when it comes to getting here into Australia, then this is the good session for you. So I will be sharing with you my screen. Can you guys see it now? Ayushi, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. All right, thank you.
Sorry, Michelle, do you mind putting it on the full screen so we all can have a look in the full screen? Yeah.
Can you see that clearly?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, thank you. So again, as I said, I will be discussing about the teaching program and its career pathway. So as earlier, Ayushi has mentioned that you have opportunity to win prizes, as you can see in my screen. So without further ado, I will be discussing the teaching profession. So as we know, teaching is a high valued profession. Teachers, they serve as a vital role in our society. They act as mentors, experts, and role models for our future generations. So without teachers, we don't learn from school. Without them, we cannot be molded to become who we want to be in the future. So in our home, we have our parents are our first teachers, and at school, teachers are our second parents. So they occupy positions of trust and confidence in the community and bound by professional code of ethics. So why not be part of the critical and growing industry that is also personally and professionally rewarding? So I just want to mention that there is a shortage in the occupation that needs to be filled in here in Australia, and that could potentially in the future could be your option to migration options if you wish to become a permanent residency. So this is the best option for you. So let's have a glimpse with the program of teachings. So what are the teaching programs? So as a career pathway, so we have early childhood, which ages from 3 to 6 years old. We have primary school teachers from preparatory school to year 7, and then moving forward to secondary school teachers, which from year 7 to high school. And we have special education teachers for vocational education and trainings and higher education teachers. So these are the qualifications or occupations that could potentially your profession in the future after completing a certain qualification. So now what are the courses that could lead you to become a professional teacher in Australia someday? So we have under vocational education and training courses. So first, we have EQF Level 3, which is the Certificate 3 in Early Childhood Education, which has a 1-year duration. And it could be packaged to Diploma of Early Childhood Education and Care, which is also 1-year duration. So basically, from the past, there was a Diploma of Early Childhood Education, which the duration was actually 2 years. But recently, it has been superseded and it has been split into 2, which is Certificate 3 1 year and Diploma 1 year. So what is the advantage of these changes, which actually took effect last quarter in 2021 and this first quarter of 2022? So when it comes to employability, if you want to join the critical sector in early childhood to become educator or child carer, some employers requires completion of or certificate of completion of early childhood. So the advantage of having only 1 year, so you can just finish 1 year of certificate 3 and you can kickstart a career as an educator or early child carer by just finishing the certificate 3 level. And eventually moving forward, you could package it with a diploma of early childhood education and care, which you can get credit should you wish to continue to do bachelor level. So this is the first step of this teaching courses should you wish to start under the vocational education and training courses. So moving forward to the bachelor or higher level. So the bachelor level, we have Bachelor of Early Childhood Teaching, Bachelor of Teaching, which you can choose specialization, whether primary teaching and or secondary teaching, Bachelor of Primary Teaching or Bachelor of Secondary Teaching. So there are 4 names when it comes to choosing the course, but eventually after the completion, your finished product, you are a primary teacher. So basically, if you start directly doing the bachelor degree level, the duration is 4 years. So the advantage of doing the course for 4 years, your English assessment level in the future could be waived off because you studied in Australia for 4 years using English as the medium of instruction. Now, at some point, the duration of the bachelor level would only be 3 years. Why? If you commence from certificate 3 plus the diploma of level, then moving forward to the bachelor level of early childhood, then you are getting credit from that qualification. So that means your bachelor level will only be 3 years in duration. So that's how 3 years or 4 years. 4 years if you do bachelor straight, or 3 years if you start from the certificate 3 level, then diploma, and then bachelor level, applying for credit exemptions. Now, moving forward, we have master level. So again, we discussed, we have the VET courses, higher education with bachelor, and now we have the master level. If you are having a non-cognate background or from different background, you can do master of teaching by choosing either primary or secondary teaching. So the main qualification, at least you have a bachelor level. And if should you wish to exit master level is always 2 years in duration. Should you wish to exit by just completing the first year, so you can have the qualification of graduate diploma of education if you choose the pre-primary, or you can exit as well, finishing just 1 year graduate diploma of teaching if you choose the secondary. So again, if you go enroll master degree of teaching or pre-primary or master of teaching secondary for 2 years, and then you get tired, you want to exit from the qualification. So instead of finishing 2 years, you just finish 1 year. So still, you are not wasting your qualification. You get the qualification, certification of graduate diploma level, so which is a good for you. So if you don't want to go ahead with the master of teaching, and you have a background from different background. Let's say, for example, you are an accountant. You finished bachelor in accounting, bachelor in business. You have bachelor level. You can do graduate diploma of early childhood education 1 year to be added to your bachelor level. And then you have the good English qualification. Then you can convert your qualification to become a pre-primary teacher. So again, converting your qualification from a non-cognate background, as long as you have a bachelor plus graduate diploma of early childhood education, you can convert it to become a pre-primary teacher or secondary teacher in Australia. So as long as you have the eligibility, again, as per in my slide, completed bachelor degree level or higher qualification. In some instances, it requires relevant experience or on-the-job training depending to which country you are coming from. So again, bachelor plus graduate diploma, the qualification achieved afterwards is pre-primary teacher here in Australia. Moving forward, so teaching as a career pathway, again, bachelor degree, 4 years duration, it could be 3 years. If you go straight to bachelor level, the basic entry requirements would be from the year 12. Of course, you have to have a good grades, average, weighted average, at least 65% if you are from year 12 direct to bachelor degree level. And since you will be teaching, of course, teaching, you should have a good English requirements, which for teaching, straight immediately it requires IELTS 7 with no less than 7 band each. And if you are using PTE as a requirement, if you've heard about PTE, then 65 each band, no less than 65. So teaching, we should be teaching. Our English should be good. I hope my English is good. Okay, so math is a compulsory component for year 12, is also a compulsory. Right. Okay, so again, master level for admission, bachelor degree is a prerequisite. 7. For pre-primary and secondary teaching, a qualification assessment from VIT. So VIT is the regulatory authorities from Victoria if you wish to study in Victoria. So again, guys, Australia, we have different states. So right now we are in Victoria. So if you wish to study in Victoria, the authority for registration is the VIT. And then for skills assessment and registration, so after getting the registration, should you wish to plan getting your permanent residency in the future or migration purposes, you need to have a skills assessment, which will be done under AITSL or for skills. So that is, again, English requirement is mandatory. Writing, it requires 7. Listening, reading, and of course, speaking. So again, these are the regulatory authorities. AITSL, Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership. So this is the assessing body. As mentioned, after you finish the study, you need the registration from Victoria, the Victorian Institute of Teaching, and then you can apply for skills assessment under AITSL. So if you studied in New South Wales and you want to become a teacher in New South Wales, then the assessing of the registration authority is the New South Wales Education Standard Authority, and in South Australia it is the Teachers Registration Board. So in Canberra, or Australian Capital Territory, it is the Teachers Quality Institute. In Queensland, Queensland College of Teachers. Tasmania, Teachers Registration Board of Tasmania, and in Western Australia, it's the Teachers Registration Board of Western Australia. So again, these are the regulatory authorities. After completing the degree, should you wish to teach in either states in Australia, you need to get registration from this respective registration authority per state. All right. So now as a career pathway, after completing the degree, of course, you want to be teaching. You can be early childhood education and care or educator in a childcare facilities if you just completed certificate 3 and diploma level under vocational courses. Should you wish to become a pre-primary or early childhood teachers, then you need to complete either bachelor level or master level, and either you choose primary or secondary. So both qualification falls under medium and long-term specialized skilled list in the occupational list. That could mean it will give you options to permanent residency in the future. All right. So moving forward, so to secure a successful registration as a teacher and skills assessment, again, the authority is AITSL with the following criteria. Education, of course, at least 1 year of teaching qualification according to the relevant specialization. And normally the program or the degree requires 60 days supervised teaching practice and or 800 hours supervised training. And again, English is a mandatory requirement. Now, early childhood. So there is pre-primary, there is early childhood. So there's an age bracket. So when it comes to early childhood, either you do from 1 to below 5 years old, less than 5 years old, or you teach 6 years old to primary level. So we have early childhood, which are less than 5 years old. So care happens in places like child care centers and preschools, also called the preparatory or kindergarten. So an education degree is useful for supervisory and leadership roles. So in this early childhood, less than 5 years, you require certificate 3 and diploma of early childhood level. So again, as mentioned, for you to be able to become an educator, to work in a childcare facility, then you need to have a qualification under the level of certificate 3 and diploma of early childhood education courses. And if you want to teach to become a pre-primary teaching, then you need to have a bachelor education or a master of teaching level, which you could be teaching from grade 1 to 6. So that's the primary teaching compared to early childhood pre-primary. All right. So there is a secondary as well. So like primary, secondary teaching, grade 7 to grade 12 requires teaching degree and professional registration. So you should also have subject examples of science, languages, math. So you can choose your specialization when you are teaching secondary. So for other education, in Australia and other education, you can also be a teacher using vocational courses or let's say, for example, private sector, vocational education and training providers. So that's for, you can teach there as well instead rather than just teaching in secondary or primary. So you have other options when it comes to employability in the future. So at this point, I will show you the employability and growth for teaching. So in Australia, there is a big shortage when it comes to teaching professions. So there is a big gap to fill in the future. So the gap that I'm showing you is the graph from the last 20 years, from February 2020 to 2020. Okay, February 2000 to February 2020. So as you can see, early childhood pre-primary school, from the last 20 years, there was an increase of 300%. So as you can see, that's a massive growth of increase when it comes to employability. So child carers, child care facilities, so that there's a 101% increase from the last 20 years, and it will continue to do so in the next 5 years. So highlighted in yellow, the teachers' occupations, it shows a massive projection until 2025, which in the next 3 years, oh wow, today is 2022, so in the next 2025, it will continue to increase. So we need to fill in the teaching professions in Australia. So this is the best opportunity for us to do the course, which 3 years, 4 years down the line, we could fill in that occupations to be eligible in teaching in Australia. So as you can see, from the last 5 years, there's a massive growth of employment as of November 2021. So this graph is very recent. So employment, from the last 1 year, there was a change. It was negative 2%. And from the for 5 year change, it grows up to 35% when it comes to employability. So as you can see, there's a huge gap to fill in when it comes to teaching in Australia. So this is the time. So again, just to show you quickly, as you can see, 1 year change to 5 year change down the line, there will be a massive growth when it comes to teaching profession. It will continue to increase until 2025 and further. So I'm showing you Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, and other Queensland state regional areas. It clearly shows in the 5 year change, it will continue to increase. So again, showing the table, it will keep on increasing in the next 5 years, the demand in early childhood pre-primary teachers across the region in Australia. So moving forward, I will discuss the skills priority list. So teachers, pre-primary teaching is in a skills priority list. So what that does mean? So when your occupation or your qualification as a teacher is in a priority list, when it comes to your future goal to become a resident in Australia, then this is the best qualification that could easily be taken into consideration. So if the qualification is in a shortage list, that would mean you will be prioritized by the government in Australia. So education or teaching profession is in a shortage list. So showing here, early childhood, as you can see, in Australia, there is a shortage in all the state, in New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, and the rest of the state, there is a shortage. Highlighted in yellow, there is a shortage of the occupation in Australia. That would mean there's a gap to fill in for the occupation that could potentially lead for those aspirants to become a resident in Australia. So pre-primary teaching is the best qualification should you wish to expedite your migration purposes. So again, childcare worker. So in every state, it shows there is a strong demand. Overall, there is a strong demand across Australia for the childcare worker. Especially during the pandemic, childcare sector has been greatly affected. So that's why it is in a critical sector. So it is the best opportunity to study this kind of qualification because post-pandemic, you need to fill in those numbers that Australia needs for the education or teaching profession. All right, so shortages explains as again, shortage, lack. There's a lack of in people to join in the qualification of in teaching. So exists when employers are unable to fill in or have considerable difficulty filling vacancies for occupation. So obviously, the government right now in Australia, there's a difficulty in filling the occupation. That's why there is shortages in teaching profession. So in some instances, shortages may be apparent in particular specialization within the occupation. Okay. So either moderate shortages, regional shortages. So let's see in Victoria and Melbourne, we are in the urban areas. So we have regional areas as well. So there are special criteria, special regional area require more. We need to fill in the regional area because most people go to the urban area in which the regional area needs to be filled in because they lack people. We need to fill people in the regional area. So that's why there is a strong demand as well for the regional area. And NS, that is for no shortage. So again, in occupation, if it is in a shortage list, the demand is high. If the demand is high, then this is our best opportunity to come in and to join in the wagon. Down the line, 3 years, 4 years from now, it will be our best opportunity, especially post-pandemic. The government has opened its door to students to come to Australia. So again, this is the best opportunity for us to join the education sector in Australia to fill in the gap because there is a huge shortage in the occupation. So early childhood, pre-primary teaching are in shortage list. So meaning the demand is high. So for a future pathway to residency, it is highly feasible. So again, if you have any questions, you can write down in the chat box, and we will be happy to answer later on. So for now, I will be passing on the presentation to Debbie.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That was very informative. We now have Debbie from SCEI, and if you can just take over from here, Debbie.
I'm trying to share my screen. Just give me a second, Ayushi.
Sure, not a problem. So meanwhile, Michelle, I might just have a question for you, for all those students. What if they have a non-cognitive background? Can they still get themselves enrolled for the teaching course?
Okay. So again, to get back to your question, if they're a non-cognate background, when we say non-cognate background, from a different background, not in a teaching background. Again, let's say, for example, you have a degree in accounting, you want to become a teacher in Australia. Yes, definitely you can do it. Either to start the qualification by doing again bachelor, but that must be expensive and long. The shortcut way is you can do actually graduate diploma of early childhood education, which is just 1 year. So added with your bachelor level plus graduate diploma level combined, plus you have the English requirements of English, IELTS only 7788 score, apply for skills assessment from AITSL. Then after getting the registration, then you can teach. You can become a pre-primary teacher in Australia, depending which specialization you are choosing, either secondary or pre-primary. So again, even from you are from a non-cognate background, definitely you can be a teacher in Australia by choosing the right course. And for that matter, either you can do bachelor if you want to go long way, you can do master if you want to add more qualification in your professional and personal profile. And if you want just to shorten your journey, then you can just do the 1 year graduate diploma of education.
Sure. Thank you so much. I think we have Debbie's screen shared here. So Debbie can take over the presentation from here on.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Michelle, and thank you so much, Ayushi. A very warm welcome to everyone here this afternoon. My name is Debbie from Southern Cross Education Institute, and I know everyone is probably eager to know how to start or what courses do we offer and what about SCEI. So allow me to give you an overview of Southern Cross Education Institute. Southern Cross Education Institute is registered provider to provide bachelor and postgraduate courses. SCEIHE is a boutique higher education provider that focuses on Australia's future labor needs in the early childhood, health, and community services sectors. We have a strong foundation in SCEI. Southern Cross Education Institute vocational education sector focuses on the same specialty areas and has already graduated more than 2,000 students. In the past 2 years, from 34 students, we have already enrolled more than 300 students. And with the additional offerings in education and social work on horizon, we ensure that we definitely would have an increased number of students enrolled in the next semesters. SCEIHE has 4 campuses in Melbourne. The Melbourne office is a multi-level campus located 10 minutes by car from the Melbourne CBD. This is the largest of the SCEIHE facility located at the 155 Boundary Road, and it's well equipped and houses 15 large classrooms, 4 computer laboratories, and a well-equipped student library, student kitchen and meal area, and a quiet study area as well. We also have a campus in Adelaide. It is a multi-level campus situated right on the edge of CBD. Similar to our Melbourne campus, the Adelaide campus is well equipped and houses 10 classrooms, computer laboratories, student kitchen and meal area, nursing and early childhood education laboratories. At the moment, the early childhood education courses in Southern Cross Education Institute Higher Education are offered in our Melbourne campus. So we do offer Bachelor of Early Childhood Education, which is a 4-year course duration, and a Graduate Diploma of Early Childhood Education, a 1-year course duration, both in our Melbourne campus. The Bachelor of Early Childhood Education is a forward-looking program that prepares graduates for employment in the pre-primary, early childhood education sectors, including kindergartens, preschools, and early learning centers. The course is accredited by the Australian Children's Education and Care Authority. For this program, students will be finishing 400 hours of industry placement units that are embedded in the course that is potentially scheduled 4 days in a week. This will provide them a consistent opportunity for them to implement their practical skills. Students will really be busy with this particular program, considering that they will be having 32 subjects for the 4-year course. And for each semester, there will be 4 subjects. There will also be 20 hours of study per week, plus approximately 16 hours of private study hours per week. So there will be a lot of readings and researches. Their holiday breaks will be in between semester 1 and 2. So currently, due to the COVID cases, students are able to study online. The course is originally structured as an on-campus, so it's a face-to-face class, but at the moment, we are delivering the program online. Theories are delivered online, but placement has to be done face-to-face and shall be completed in our Melbourne campus. So as you can see, these are the subjects of the students for their first year and second year. So looking at the subjects, students will learn classroom management techniques as well as skills in teaching, literacy, and numeracy that are taught in line with national and state early learning frameworks, or the EYLF. Upon finishing this program, the student will be able to first critically analyze theories, technologies, and researches relevant to early childhood education. They would also evaluate curriculum, policies, and quality frameworks within the Australian context for inclusion in their professional practice. Another thing that they will be learning is to have a critical reflection on their professional practice when making pedagogical decisions and problem solving in diverse educational contexts. Let us not forget that students finishing the 4-year course would exhibit a broad and coherent knowledge of curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment in the design of developmentally appropriate contemporary learning experience. So looking at the subjects, it is not an easy course. Then it's not just simply a tick of the box and then they finish themselves and get themselves qualified. It entails a lot of work and reading and ensures that the students are also disciplined. What are the entry requirements for this program? Students must have at least finished Year 12 certificate or equivalent or an equivalent international qualification. We also accept students who have done an Australian diploma, or they may have already finished a diploma of early childhood education in any of the institute in Australia, as the course is under the same package. For the language requirement, we do accept 6.5 in IELTS with no band score less than 6.0. So we also accept TOEFL OET, Pearson PTE with an overall score of at least 66 with no less than 56 in writing, communication, and no less than 46 in other communication. We do have our intake date this coming March 7. So at the moment, we are still accepting applications for March intake. And for those offshore students, you can apply for the July intake. Tuition fee for our 4-year bachelor course is 18,000 per year, and there is a one-off material fee payment of 1,400. For the March intake, we will be giving students 15% tuition fee discount for their first year. And on top of that, they will also be receiving 600 discount on their material fee, provided that they will be studying full 4 units of the course. Another course that we are offering in higher education is the Graduate Diploma of Early Childhood Education. SCEI Graduate Diploma of Early Childhood Education is a 1-year intensive graduate diploma course. Students will develop and advance their skills in supporting and learning needs in the diverse learners across the curriculum from birth to 5 years old. Students will also be building an effective relationship with children, families, and communities to develop evidence-based educational interventions. After finishing the course, students will be able to register with the Victorian Institute of Teaching to teach in an early childhood setting with children ages 5 birth to 5 years old. The program is also accredited by the Australian Children's Education and Care Authority. Looking at the slide, you can see here that there are 60 days of professional placement in a regulated early childhood education service. So placement are embedded into the program. So 30 days placement for in the semester for groups 0 to 2 or for age 0 to 2 for their first semester and 3 to 5 years old for the second semester. Looking at this, potential students will really be busy. So I want to highlight that for students to go or be endorsed in their placement, we require 80% of their attendance. This is apart from holding a valid working with children's check prior to undertaking their professional placements. As you can see from the course map, students will undertake a wide range of interesting subjects as part of their study. After finishing the program, they will be learning to critically evaluate educational theory and research in the design and implementation of the learning experience. They would also learn how to appraise different worldviews and socio-political circumstances to design learning and interventions that promote engagement and inclusion. Apart from that, students will also learn how to formulate a personal teaching and professional practice philosophy that advocates for children's rights and public good. So we highly suggest that students, before considering this program, you will really have to be enrolled as a full-time commitment. Entry requirements for the course, for the graduate diploma, is at least you have finished a bachelor qualification. And also, applicants for the graduate diploma of early childhood education for SCEI, we also need you to complete a non-academic suitability test. So what is this? This is the CASPER test. The test measures your attributes such as your motivation to teach, your attitude toward learning, interpersonal and communication skills, your resilience, self-efficacy, how conscientious applicants are, as well as organization and planning skills. So, as mentioned earlier, we are using the CASPER Postgraduate Teacher Education Test, and currently it is $80 fee, and you will have to book that externally. So the last day for the booking is today. We have a test that will be scheduled on Feb 3. So ensure if you intend to join the March intake, you have to book your Casper test now because the results will be out in 14 days. So the Aussizz is composed of the Casper, which is 60 to 90-minute online situational judgment. So there will be videos you will have to judge, and also a 10-minute one-way interview with a standardized question. So we use the Casper test for us to see if we need to have or to give additional support to the student as an early intervention method. It is not something that there is pass or fail. So apart from the Casper and the bachelor qualification, we also require students to have a score of 7.0 overall with no less than score 6.5 in written communication and 6.0 in other bands. Okay. Places for the March intake are limited, so ensure you book now. Take your Casper and ensure that you coordinate with your education agents and see if you are suitable and you are eligible for the program. For the tuition fee, indicative tuition fee is $25,000. At the moment, we are offering the program for $18,000 per year, and there's a one-off payment of $1,400 again for this intake March. It's gonna be $800, so that's gonna be less than $600 for your payment. So we will have to divide the $18,000 per semester, but the one-off material fee you will have to settle that on the first semester. So that would be the end for the presentation for the higher education program. So I know that there is a lot for students to take in, especially if they want to do balance of their family, and their work and their schedule as well, plus their academic requirements too. So if they feel that they need to feel supported, our welfare officers are there to listen, to help them, and ensure that they are able to facilitate and then progress in their academic journey. So that would be pretty much of the end of the presentation. So I wish you all the best as you embark on the new exciting journey of your professional and academic life. Thank you, Ayushi.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I think the presentation itself was very self-explanatory, as well as you've given immense amount of information in regards to the courses and the entry requirements. Just a little question, Debbie, I have here is Casper test compulsory for all the students to enroll?
For the graduate diploma, yes. For graduate diploma, we have to ask the student to really take the Casper test prior to the commencement of the program. So right now, the intake will be on March, and the last test schedule is February 3. So be sure that they are able to catch up this last test schedule.
Okay. And the placements for the Casper test are actually taken at the campus itself, is it?
The Casper, they can do that online. So it is a third party. It is an online one. So they'll have to book it.
Sure.
The placement will have to be taken in Melbourne. So we do have some students who've been enrolled interstate, like Sydney and Queensland. And we have mentioned to them that that they have to ensure that they should be in Melbourne during placement, because some of them will still have to arrange their accommodation and work as well.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. I think the floor is on for all of you to ask the questions, whatever you have. We have both our experts with you and they'll be able to answer all the questions. Sorry, Debbie, you can stop sharing the screen now.
Okay.
Yeah. And okay, so we have our first question here. That's from Udiogu Anthony. He's saying, good day, I'm a teacher who has Bachelor's of Science in Economics, a diploma in education, and currently running Masters of Science in Education. Should be end by June. What steps should I take if I want to relocate to Australia? Mechelle, would you be able to answer this?
Ayushi, can you repeat the question, and where is she currently from?
So he's not written where is he from. He wants to relocate to Australia. He's currently a teacher And he's done Bachelor's of Science in Economics and a diploma in education, and currently he's pursuing his master's, which will be done by end of June.
So basically, he is from offshore. So again, even if we are a registered teacher from our origin country, we cannot be automatically teaching in Australia. We need to convert the qualification and we need to get a registration in Australia. So by that means, if you have a very strong profile actually, which you can just actually do it straight by doing the graduate diploma level, which is just 1 year, and then after completing, then you can just apply the registration in Australia. Then you can become a registered teacher in Australia. So again, graduate diploma is the best option for you here should you wish to relocate in Australia, converting the qualification offshore teaching to Australian teaching.
Thank you, Michelle. I think just further to that, I would also like to add here. Um, Once you've done this, I think 1 year of study won't be able to give him the skill assessment, because for that he would need to still fulfill the IELTS requirement, which is 778. So that might be a bit of a stringent requirements for the AITSL. So for that, either you go for a 4 year course or you can study masters and then again aim for that course. So yeah, that is again one of the options for you. So graduate diploma of teaching or masters of teaching. Okay, he's from Nigeria. So yeah, that answers your question. Okay, the second question we have here is how and what is the job market for the graduate diploma of teaching, and does it lead to PR? Kumesha, thank you so much for your question. However, as we are an education consultants here, we are QX certified agents, we won't be able to answer you in regards to your PR, but we do have another session that gives you a skill assessment and future PR pathways for teaching at 4:30. That is just after this session. You can join that session and you can get all the answers there. But the first part of the question can be answered by Michelle. So, how and what is the job market for the graduate diploma of teaching?
Okay, so again, at the end of the day, either you do Bachelor of Teaching, Graduate Diploma of Teaching, or Master of Teaching, the end product is a pre-primary teacher or a secondary teacher. So either qualification, we're talking about the end product, and the end product here is teaching. So again, as mentioned earlier in my presentation, the demand in Australia is high because the qualification for teaching is in a short list. So yeah, there is a high demand. Again, the teaching bachelor, graduate diploma, master, where end product teaching. So the employability in the future is high in Australia. You just have to choose which state you are comfortable in residing to.
Sure. Thank you. And one more question here, Michelle. What can online teaching experience is that eligible? Eligible
Sorry.
for eligible for what, Gayatri? If you can just increase your question or give us some more detail on what prospects you're looking for, so we'll be able to answer you in a better way. Since most graduate diploma students are online. Okay, Anthony is again asking you the same question. Just a further question to that. Since most graduate diploma in Australian universities are online, will it help in relocating?
Okay, sorry. Graduate diploma right now, it depends. Because of the pandemic, initially they are doing it online, but there is a requirement of a supervised training. So it is a mandatory. So how can you be a full-fledged teacher without doing a supervised training by just doing online? So again, if you commence starting the course because of the pandemic offshore, then probably when you come to Australia, you have to fulfill the requirement of doing the practical placement, which it requires, I guess, 800 hours or 60 days face-to-face, because without the supervised training, then you cannot qualify for the registration or the skills assessment in the future.
Okay, we have another question from Nish. Done masters in mathematics from India. I'm a provisional resident of Australia. How can I teach secondary level students here? Or if you can tell, what's the way to enter the college level teaching?
So she is already a permanent resident in Australia.
Yeah.
So if you are already a permanent resident in Australia, that is actually your advantage because you are no longer considered as an international student. That would mean you don't have to pay as much as high as international students do. So because you are provided with, I guess, government support or subsidized by the government to study. So instead of paying, let's say for example, 10,000, then you must just be paying a less with that. So that is your advantage being permanent resident. But again, so you have the options here. All the options are yours. You can do either bachelor, but again, that's a long way. You can do graduate diploma. Actually, graduate diploma would be the easier one because it's just 1 year. Or if you want to add more value to your professional profile, then master degree would be the best advantage for you. And you want to choose secondary, again, there is a bachelor or master of education. You have to choose your specialization, either pre-primary or secondary. So it's up to you which to choose when, upon enrolling. So if you wish to do secondary, then you choose either master of teaching in secondary education or graduate diploma, again, in secondary education.
Yeah. Perfect. Hope you've received the answer. I think Gayatri, you are asking for PR. However, as I've mentioned earlier, we won't be able to give any guidance in regards to PR, but we do have a session coming up right after this, so you'll be able to get all your answers in regards to the PR with teaching. Okay, Anthony's writing, moving forward, how do I get touch with an agent to guide in achieving this? Because you've registered for our event, what we'll do is we'll be able to give you a call and we'll be in contact with you. So one of our education agent and migration agent will be able to guide you out with all the process and further pathways. Okay, Gayatri is saying, I have completed my bachelor's in computer science, but I have 1 year experience in online teaching for 6+ grade kids. Can I apply for teaching program?
So again, as mentioned earlier, even if you are from a non-cognate background, let's say computer science, IT, accounting, as long as you have the bachelor degree completed, then you are eligible to do graduate diploma level to be added to your bachelor level. And then granting you have the criteria or eligibility to register with English requirements of IELTS, then yes, you can convert that qualification to become a pre-primary teacher in Australia.
So even though she's computer science is a background.
Yes, that's correct, Ayushi. That's from a non-cognate background. So the qualification, at least bachelor level plus graduate diploma of early childhood or graduate diploma of teaching, then that is how you convert to become a pre-primary teacher in Australia.
Yeah, perfect. Hope this helps. The one we have here is, I'm applying for Masters of Secondary Teaching. I think the question is incomplete. If you can just finish the question here. How long is the How long is the Masters of Secondary Teaching course?
Okay, master of teaching or any master degree course in Australia normally runs 2 years. So if you do master teaching pre-primary or master of teaching secondary, it is for 2 years duration. But again, should you wish to exit early, you can get, after 1 year, you get the qualification of graduate diploma level.
Yeah. Okay. More questions if we have. So we have some time to answer all your queries. Okay, looks like all. Even if after this session, if you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call or to mention all your questions into the link below. I'm just posting a link for you guys to enter. Once the recording of the session is stopped, even then we'll be uploading the session to YouTube, and that will still be accessible for you all. Because you've registered for the event, you'll still be able to access all the information, and we'll be able to give you a call or we'll contact you in regards to all your queries or questions. We might wait for another 5 minutes to see if they have any further questions. If not, then we'll just wrap it up. Meanwhile, do not forget to give us your feedback. I'll share the link for the feedback for you all. So as much descriptive feedback as you can, so you can avail the bonus. as I've mentioned.
So we just have to add on Ayushi. To those who are listening or watching with us right now, either onshore and offshore, yes, we can help you definitely. We are doing both onshore and offshore applications. So to those who are watching right now onshore, if you have families back home who wish to start a journey in study in Australia, then definitely we can help you. And for those who are offshore right now, so again, stay connected with us by popping up your in the chat box your email address so we can touch base with you by sending the link and information that you need to start forward.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Looks like we don't have any further questions from here. Can you share the email ID, Ayushi? I think the email ID has been sent before. If you can just email your details, Gayatri, on this number, on this email, sorry, and we'll be able to contact you further. Guys, do not forget to attend the session of skill assessment and future PR pathways right after this session, which is at 4:30 Australian Standard Time. And just post the link as well for that, and you'll be able to access the session. We have our MARA agents, or migration agents, who will be able to give you out a lot of information in regards to the skill assessment and future PR pathways with teaching courses. So here you go. And we also have one more session at the similar time. So if any of you is interested in social work, we also have one of our MARA agent giving the details on that. So that's for social work, and here's the link for that. Okay, Michelle, looks like there's no further questions here. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this session. Do not forget to leave your review in this session. A review link has been shared in the chat box. I've done that many times during the session. Your feedback is highly, highly appreciated. Don't miss out on our next info sessions. I've shared the details as well, and you can join us. Stay safe, and okay. Sure, there's just one more question. That's fine. Okay, he is writing, can you suggest good universities for master's course?
So when it comes to universities, we have a lot of universities to choose from depending to which state. So right now we are sitting in Victoria. So we have 6 states in Australia. So depending to your state of interest, then there are very much good universities to choose from, which you could not go wrong. Okay, Victoria, RMIT is the best. So for the most go-to option, so RMIT, we have Monash University, we have University of Melbourne. So those most unknown university in Australia, they're running the Master of Teaching or Master of Education. So again, either way, for higher universities in Melbourne or in Victoria, you cannot really go wrong.
Yeah. Also, for Master of Teaching, the IELTS requirement is 7788, which is exactly the same requirement for AITSL. So you have to be mindful when you apply for a Masters of Teaching course. I guess that's it. Hope you've got your answer, Nish. That's okay. Thank you so much for asking questions. And we'll see you guys soon. And this session will be available for you all to refer to. Or if you've got any further questions, do not forget to message us or share all your contact details with us. Or you can feel free to email us as well. Thank you so much. And we'll be ending this session now. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Ayushi, and thank you, Debbie. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.